Welcome everyone, let's get going. A lot to talk about. So I'm just going to show you a couple of dramatic charts here, and this is the DAX. So this is the 2021 lows and 2021 highs, and you can see on Friday we just closed underneath it. So a very bearish chart. Even in the end of the year, we were selling into highs, and of course we got that at the beginning of the year. Very feeble start to the year, and then we just cracked on the 24th, 25th, and any subsequent highs were sold into before we finally really broke down on Thursday, Friday last week. In the meantime, the US market is doing this. Sorry, just trying. It's the Dow. So the Dow at the moment is just sitting up in this support. So we've already dropped to a key support level, 32,275. And then Friday the 25th we held up, and we spent all of last week inside the range of the 25th. So we spent the whole week inside this tiny range. So with this resistance hanging over here, if all we do next week is touch 34,000 or thereabouts and fail, then this Dow too could come down and find those lows as well. All right, so this is quite a contrast between what we're seeing in the US and the European markets. At least the CAC is even worse. Now, when I search for the CAC, for some reason, it would not come up. Let me go and find. Oh, here we are. Right. They call it the France 40. Should have known, shouldn't I? Yeah, you can see this is even worse. 20, hang on, or is it 2021? No, it's as weak as the DAX. In the meantime, the FTSE is broken down as well on the Friday as well. So the next stop for the FTSE is potentially 6750. So any subsequent, so if we drift up into this level, I will short. So we pull back into that resistance now. Could, in theory, could then come and see us down at 67.45. What we've got ECB on Thursday, not expecting any rate rises in Europe. Then we got the Fed on the 16th, the following week. So there's a week and a half till Fed. What we might see in this FTSE is, you can see we had a big drop down here and then flailed up. I think it's quite likely we may stay in this range before we get the next leg down. If we're really bearish, we'll hardly pull back into this range before legging down again. But if we get a repeat of that, we will sit in here and do nothing for a while. And there's some horrible stocks out there. If I just show you a couple, show you Wix. Come on. This is just falling out of the sky. Very flat, fairly tight range. Notice how this is over once we go back to the middle of the box. once we go back in towards that range and break down, excuse me, it's taken a while. I mean, we were starting to fail up there on the 13th of Jan. It's taking a long while to do this. However, Stagecoach, okay, that's not as bad. Okay, there are some horrendous charts out there though. Let's look at my card factory. Anybody who's new to the room, I've been shorting this from recent highs. So I'm looking for 30 on this. I can take some of this drawing off now. So I started shorting up here at 64 and a half, took it off at 54, then got short on 62. Now I'm looking for, and interesting enough, directors were buying in at 50, 51, and we're now 41. So I'm looking for 30 on this. There's still an opportunity to get in, but obviously, you know, we're a long way down here now. So shorting low down is obviously lower probability. But that's a very, very nice chart pattern. We'll see if we can find some other shorts in a minute. Just want to show you one other startling chart here before we really dig into this. Yeah, okay, I'll do that in a second, Pinkesh. What was I going to show you? This is what you get in a commodity super cycle. This is wheat. And we are, that must have been limit up. If this market goes over 70 cents in any one day, they just shut the market down. They cease trading. So this has gone limit up. I've seen this back in 05, 06, I think it was. Soybeans went limit up 3 days in a row. You could not access the market for 3 days. They would open, run up 70 cents in the blink of an eye, and then shut the whole market. The market automatically shut down. So we had the very dramatic, quite a dramatic drop on the 25th. Pulled back up on the Monday the 28th, and then we've just spent the whole week running up. Why? Because Ukraine is an important, several reasons. A, Ukraine's an important wheat belt, and crop reports are now coming out, etc., etc. But all the technical support, obviously I've had this drawing down here for weeks and months. Okay, so what? Well, it's just gone, isn't it? It's just wild. So you'll be buying potentially at the top if you start buying the wheat. I mean, any move down to 950 is now buyable, but that's $2.50 down, which at the moment doesn't look possible. We've got lots of gaps now. So we've got a gap here. Whoops. It's just on 5. We've obviously got last Thursday's gap or Friday's gap. I would have thought this will calm down, but hey, that's just being rational. And rational does not work in markets overall. Right, okay. All right, before we move on to, before we really dig in, let's have a look at the Nasdaq. Let's complete the whole look at the indices. So Nasdaq is it's closed under some support, so it's actually lost support here. Now, a couple of things. I was looking at this earlier. Is this a head and shoulders? For that to be a bullish head and shoulders, we need to go back into, we need to close above 14,000. But we are coming down on volume. And we've broken, we've lost that support. We've lost the 14.5 support. We've closed underneath 13.5. So at the moment, the path of any move into this 14,200 is shortable. However, of course, if we open and close inside here, then this head and shoulders may work. But I think based on, at the moment, everything suggests that we're coming back down to those lows and maybe lower. But the US has been somewhat sheltered from the European issue. So it is, you know, I would leave it alone. I mean, I always say that this time of the week, I normally say, let the markets get open on Monday, sit on your hands, just manage any positions you've got and see what the reaction is, see what the market does as it digests what's happened over the weekend. And of course, how we closed on Friday. But we're getting a series of lower highs and lower lows. So the path of least resistance is definitely down. And you know, any move into that structure, 14.2, with a stop above this high, could see us, if we break those lows, it's going to see us down there at 12,200. That's the next stop. That's the 2021 lows. But like I said, ignore that. If we start opening and closing in here, that might give us the potential to wind up. Okay, S&P is not a lot different. Same as the Dow. I mean, this is all the time the S&P stay in this area, and we don't break those lows, we could get up here. But it's a very flat range bound week underneath trend lines and selling volume increasing. So if this one breaks that low, this is going to come down and see 4,100 pretty quick. And 4,000, you would expect to see that. So, however, I would start to back off the shorts if at any time soon we close above 4,400. Then we might pull back up here. Also got triple witching coming up on the 18th as well. So we've got Fed on the 16th and triple witching on the 18th. Right. Let's one final quick chart to look at. This is emerging markets. So this too is just losing its footing. So any retracement into 1158 could see that one come lower as well. So very bearish markets. It's safe to assume at the moment that the knock-on effect from the Russian market has been downgraded to junk by the S&P index, and the rest of the market, global market, is feeling that as well. Nikkei index, well, that's down to an extension on volume. So unhappy markets. So hence the reason why I've been ultra cautious. I've been just taking money off the table. Any stocks that are pushing up into resistance, I've personally just been taking them off the table. And if some things have continued to go up, like Rio, some things haven't. This is the volatility index. This is not lying down. So if this stays elevated and breaks that, it continues to break up into these highs, that is obviously very bearish. And the dollar index has broken 2021, 2022 highs and is crawling back into this 2020 COVID area. All right, so we've got a flight to the dollar, a flight to safety, and we did see an initial run higher in the Bitcoin on the back, allegedly on the back of Russians selling rubles and buying Bitcoin, but even that's falling out as well now. Even, I don't know if there are any crypto traders here, but if that breaks Friday's low, then we're going to come and see 28, and there's a gap down here in Bitcoin at 23.4. So my money is on this, where the gap up here at from 21st of July last year, and we've got this gap is from the 24th December 2020. So my money is on that gap getting filled down there at 20, about 24, possibly lower. Okay, right, let's take a look at oil. Sitting up very proud of extension highs. So if we get a pullback, what's that? That's Wednesday's low, isn't it? Yeah, if we pull back into Wednesday's index range, into the low, I think that's going to go higher. I don't think you'd be surprised to hear me say that. So where do I think it's going to go? Wow, this is really, really on fire, isn't it? Right, let me just redraw this then. As with any other market, I'm not going to chase this. Right, so we're back up to August 13 highs. The extension is up there at 140. So if we pull back into 105, 106 has been a key number. So if we see 105, 106, there is a possibility we could be going to 140. A lot of commentators are talking about 125. But that is up for grabs. So obviously I'm buying pullbacks in the trading room. I'm going to open up the trading room very soon to a wider audience. I'll talk to you about that Wednesday latest. So, right, the commodities. So we talked about wheat. Beans have already been on. It's useful looking at the weekly chart anyway. I don't know if we can pull back to 15, but that would certainly be a major level of support for the beans. I expect them to go to 20. You don't have to trade these individuals. Look at copper. Copper is breaking up. Natural gas is back up to a resistance. So the October highs is up there at 65. Typically, as I keep saying, typically gas starts to lie down at this time of year. Let's see if that's the case. Nickel. Wow, nickel's blasted out. So all these metals, have a look at silver. Silver's picked up. So I think there's still time to get in silver. If you're not in these metals and you want to get in these metals, I would look for 24.5 on the silver. The gold, you won't be surprised to hear me say, is perking up. So any pullback into 1940, 1945 we'll see that, or not even touch the 2000 yet, but obviously we're only $30 underneath it. So the all-time highs are 2078. The extension's up there at 2030. So anyway, I think a pullback in the gold and the silver is potentially a good option if you want to get in on these metals. But a lot of other commodities are doing well anyway. Right. Let's stay on the theme of metals. I just need to go and find my, I've updated all my lists, so I just need to go and find them. Right, Pan-African. Made a new 2022 high last week. It doesn't, the volume's really good. At the moment, that doesn't look as if that's sitting down. If you do see 2021, that may go back to 25. Let's look at the daily. Yep, so we spent a lot of time just hovering around the 2280, 23. So the pullback is 21 on Pan-African. So if you're not in this and you want to get in on a miner, that is an option. Griffin is stumbling, so we'll back off of that one. Centamin sitting up, so that's had a good move off 80. If you're interested in Centamin, I would try and wait for 95, 97 rather than chase that one if you're interested in that one. Hochschild. Don't like that. I personally would stick with Pan-African. Quick look at the US miners. We've got HL busting up. That's a pullback at $6.23. This is a silver miner, CDE. Now this is volumes are good down here. So if we can bust up through the $5 mark, that stands a chance of getting up. So I like this. The volume supports a higher move. Anybody? What indicators you use? I do use MACD. I'm very happy to use MACD. At the moment, I've just got volume on here. Just got volume, nothing else. Okay, moving on to any other metals. Let's look at metal stocks, other metal stocks. We've got Poly. Yeah, Rio. Polymetal is just not doing it. Looked all right. Started getting very fragile on the 17th before the war broke out. That is a horrible chart. That's come from a great 2078 all the way down to 180. So, wow. At the moment, no sign of buyer stepping in, no sign. Now, this is not, I've forgotten what they do. Let me just check, I'll tell you. If I can get this thing to stand still. Morgan Advanced Materials, they're involved in insulating ceramics, I think it is. So they are in the business of materials, not actively mining, etc., etc. Just take it, this is just a massive buy signal. Huge buy signal. We've gap filled. There's a gap down there. So if you're interested in this one, I would try and bid on 295. I certainly would not chase it. But that's a huge, huge volume bar, huge buy signal. And the 2021 range is there. So we're already coming to a resistance point, hence the reason why I wouldn't chase it. It's MGAM, came up in a scan I was doing. So I would sit tight and see if that can pull back. You never know, you might even see that go back into 92, 290, 292, but I think that is a great chart and I will keep a look on that one. I need to put, let's look at Sylvania. I've not put Sylvania in the list, and it should be. Sylvania's hit an issue up here and it's pulling right back. At the moment, that's actually a sell signal, a short-term sell signal up there. So anybody in this one, well, you know what? It's hit resistance area. Going back to what I started off by saying, I'm being very, very. It's actually gap fill. There's a gap there, which we didn't. Yeah, okay, we did just about fill. This has had a proper full gap fill up there, and it's dropped right back. So it looks like a good stock. It's just got a problem with that price. So it could well come all the way back to 92. I will be interested in that one at 92. MGAN, yeah, they got the bounce on the results. Yeah, they're back in profit. Right. Any other metal-related stock you want me to look at? Any metal-related stocks? This is FCX, a massive US copper miner, breaking out. SLP. Oh yeah, is that Sylvania? That's it. Right. Okay. This one is going great guns. Right. Let's move on to financials. Lloyd's, not happy at all. Not at all happy. Wow. Yes, so we've got all the support down here. This is potentially a good opportunity. Obviously, you've got so much going on, got a lot of noise out there. Got to be patient. So that low down there on September was 41.30. So coming down on volume, so back off. I personally, my view is back off of Lloyd's. Barclays, surprise, surprise, doing the same. So that's come back down to last summer's lows on volume. So these are all ones I can pick off if we get a reversal. I saw a quote today which I thought was really good. Let me just go and find it for you. I'll read it out to you. It says bottom fishers get it right many times and then lose it all when they eventually get it really wrong. Breakout traders get it wrong many times and make a fortune when they eventually get it right. I've never met a bottom fisher that didn't eventually blow up. In other words, you know, all these stocks are coming into major support areas, but my personal view is do not go out and buy these support areas. Let these markets settle if they are going to settle. I mean, at the moment they're not settling, but they are coming to key levels, and you may be able to buy them back at a better price. Legal & General fallen out. DL, oh, that's Direct Line, isn't it? Even Direct Line had a really good run into that 313, 315 area, and even that has just fallen right back on itself. So that this is why this is a good example of why I like taking profits. Hit a major trend line, started to break down up there in February, mid-February, and here we are making new 2022 lows. Even HSBC is pulling right back to support, and Standard Chartered pulling right back as well. So these are times to be ultra cautious. Centrica, yeah, I have been looking at Centrica. LSEG, right, okay. I'll come back to those in a second. You got in at 58. You got what did you get in on, Raj? Oh, Centrica, right. Okay, let's have a look at Centrica. Spell it right. That's a tough one because I actually saw a reasonable amount of volume come in on Friday. I mean, if I was in Centrica and I started to see some red bars up there at those highs, given what I've just said about the market, I would then just get out. It's a gap fill, isn't it? Yeah, it's a gap fill. So the gap fill was up there. Well, resistance and the gap. Yes, all the time we were up here in February, we were in this major problem area from December 2019. So if you're a long-term investor, stay put, do nothing. If you're a short-term trader, you should have been out at 78, 75, 78. If you are a short-term trader and you're in it, we need to hold 70. So if all we do is come back and test this trend line and hold, then we could be going back up. You sold at 74, right? Okay, 74 is a good place to get out. If you're looking to get back in, see if we can peel back into this area here. See if we peel back into December lows. We might, who knows, we might even come lower. Who knows? But getting out at 74 was a good price to get out at. We can reset your order. Oh, sorry, Andy's got out at 74. And Raj, you had 74 set as well. I don't know why I've never heard of a broker resetting an order. 78. Okay, well done. Good. Brilliant. Good to see you taking profits off the table at a time like this. There's somebody wanted to look at LSEs. Let's look at that before I forget. That's a lot of volume, isn't it? That's a handsome push higher. Interesting how we dropped underneath a key support level in late Feb and then quickly picked up. Well, we didn't quickly pick up. We shot up on Thursday and had a good finish on Friday. Yeah, it's hit a trend line. I personally, if you're interested, if you're talking about buying it, I presume you're talking about buying it, I would wait and see if it peels back to that support. I'd sit tight and see if it drifted all the way back here. It's such a bearish market. I would hold out for 66.50s, or even potentially, who knows, maybe even lower. It's very difficult to. Bear in mind it's hit a resistance. If all it does is if it starts closing under 68.85, it might just roll over and go back down to the lows. So I would personally just sit tight, see if that rolls back. TGA got at 67. I think you got 67. Right. Well, it's certainly at a resistance level. I would, you know what? 78.50 is a key pivot point here. If you're sitting in it, see how you open on Monday, see how you open tomorrow. But if this stays strong and the volume stays, and you see more buyers come in, then 78.50 or 40 is the next level. I would always get in front of these levels. I would always get in front. I would try and get in there at 78.30. We saw Hammerson not quite touch 40, or some of the exits weren't triggered at 40, and that has toppled since. Right, financials. Let's look at let's do an update on some stocks that I've been in. Let's do an update on BT. Yeah, see, I got out of BT at 198, 199. And we've already pulled back to this key trendline area. I think that will come all the way. That could, at least I hope, it really comes down to 150, 160 on BT. If all we do is come down and kiss this low and then start to climb up, then I may need to consider get back in. Vodafone, I got out at 124, 125. That went to 140. That's peeling right back on itself as well. Not looking to get in at the moment. IQE has been holding up, but even that's drifted right back. That's tested 43 and peeled right back to 37. And the volume's not holding up. So if this doesn't start to pull its socks up now, this could come right back lower as well on IQE. Rolls, I got in as high as 110 on this. I had 122 literally a day or two later, and then we pulled, and then the war broke out. Well, certainly the European issue. I should just refer to it as a European issue, shouldn't I? So this has really got to start closing above 95 at least, if not a pound. Otherwise, that is just going to keep going lower. Horrible chart. QQ. Like I said, I'm taking profits. 310 was a resistance area. 39310. I've jumped ship. I'm waiting to see if this can peel back on itself as well. Huge bar on the 28th. If that can peel back, then I might get interested again. So look at ASOS. This is just not doing it. Now, appears to have had some volume on Friday, but horrible. Boo. These guys, boo, next, ASOS, not doing it. My Pfizer is working. Took a bit of heat on it, but I might add to this. I'll leave it a little bit longer, but I might add to my position on PFE. but I'd at least get Monday out of the way. Right, right, back to the scans I'm looking at. Financials we've done miners. What else have we got on the IT front? So even Money Supermarket, another example. Really nice move into 220, and we've peeled right back. And I missed the entry on this, but at £2 and 2.15, 2.17, it was hitting this major resistance area. So if you were in it, I personally would have got out. See, it's not even got up to 220. I would have thought that would have got up to 220. So at the moment, we're back under 2021 lows. This could easily come lower. It's got to start closing above 195, £2. Otherwise, this is just going to come lower. Right, what else? Any other stocks you want to look at? Because I did a big scan and I literally couldn't find anything else to buy at the moment. Let me just make sure. What else have I got in my lists? Rolls-Royce I've just done. There's nothing else I really want to look at the moment. Let's look at some US stocks. Bristol Myers. Wow, that's doing really, really well. So if you look at the disruptors, they are just not doing it. Fubo. Roku. See, it's hard to see the Nasdaq holding up when you've got stocks like this behaving like this. I was interested at Zoom. There's Uber. It's a pretty sick market out there at the moment. I was getting ready to buy Zoom and I backed off. And at the moment, that still looks lower. Palantir. Had a good move on the 24th. Okay, leave it. T-Doc. Let me look at. Look at PayPal, and PayPal just really took a massive. Some of these guys took a huge hit. PayPal is miles away. I did not expect to see PayPal down there. No way. That's horrible chart. Let's look at Square. How many people in the room are actually trading US stocks? No, that's not doing it as well. Had a good run. You know, all these little runs are getting sold into. Be very, very careful, people. I've been moving my funds into more and more cash. Only UK, okay. These guys. This is TPI. This is TPI cap. OTLY, right. Keep an eye on these guys. This is a commodity broker. That is a relatively high volume off of that low on this one. This is Man Group. Okay, so that had a really nice run into 210, currently 183. These are just watch lists for me. And even Glencore has got a lower close off an extension. So even Glencore looks lower. Otley, right. I think everybody's drifting away already. So I say everybody, a few have drifted away. What are as I said, this is not been on the market long, is it? Like you got me to look at this before, I think. Are you actually in this? It sounds like you're in the negative at the moment. I'll be very careful on this one because the volume, there does not appear to be any buyers in this one. You got it at 7.2. Well, if we break this 5.9, we're lower. Good stocks and bad are struggling, and this is no exception. So I would decide how much room you're going to give it. But if we start breaking that 590, we could come lower. So I mean, one option is to get your stop just under around the 570 mark. Right, TGA, you asked me to do that before. Right, a quick look at DraftKings, and I'll look at Andy's. But DraftKings is not doing it. Where's my DraftKings? It's I've forgotten the ticker. DKNG, isn't it? Like so many stocks, particularly this sector, it's really struggling. If we come down to 18 and hold, maybe you got a chance, but at the moment that is not holding. And like everything else, looks horrible. Right, what's this TGA? TGA. Is this a US stock? No, because you don't trade US stocks. So what is this TGA? S32. Is that right? Oh, okay. Wow. Are you in this, Andy? Because this has gone. This S32 has well and truly gone. So I can't comment on that because if you're not in it, then you're gonna have to buy potentially very high to get in it. If at any time it pulls back to 250 and holds, I'd get in, but that's just gone. I don't know why it didn't come up with some gala. Right, okay. Both miners then. It's gone. Same thing. I've marked this up, so you must have got this. You must have got me to look at this before. So we're doing really well at 3. Wow, that's gone crazy, isn't it? It didn't look too healthy. It looks as if it finished at 6, didn't it? It looks as if it's finished. And then we go from 5, pull back to 530 and go up to 866. Wow. Not much of a clue it could do that. Like, yeah, actually the volumes were picking up significantly here on the 24th. Yeah, wow, really nice stocks. Oh, 88E, I was looking, I saw 88E was doing okay. Oh, okay, so we gapped up. It's really struggling with that 2.8. I think I suggested last time I looked at this, I suggested 2.8 was a problem. So we've hit 2.8, come back to 2.4. At the moment, I can see that coming back to 2.1 unless we start turning around at 2.3. But I mean, if you're in it and you saw 2.8 and you didn't get out, well, at the moment, my strategy is just to take everything off at resistance at the moment. That's my personal strategy. And had you done that at 2.8 on 88E, you would have got in before this significant pullback. At the moment, last couple of days, last week, it didn't see any buyers come in. Right. Well, I wouldn't mind betting it would come. I can see it coming back to that placing level then. Definitely need to watch out for this then. I'll set an alarm for 2p. I have no idea if it's going to find 2p, but it might do. Put that in again. I don't think that's. Oh, okay, I get it. Right. Well, I get in front of these big numbers. I've had this I had personal experience, and I've known a friend of mine was in HMSO, was in Hammerson, and had an exit at 40. According to the charts, it went there, but they weren't taken out, and now it's pulled right back. I get in front of these levels. I don't get the other side of them. So I think that you've paid for that greediness. I am not being greedy in this market. I am just banking what I can at the moment. Let's look at Hammerson. Yeah, see, Hammerson was up at, well, according to this, 40.30. And here we are back down at 34.5. At the moment, low, I can see that just coming lower. Let's clear all this up. Oh, decent volume. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, I could be wrong on any of these, couldn't I? All I can do is tell you what I'm doing with these stocks. That's all I can do. But the main support's down there at 29.5. So if it's really bullish, this dip has got to hold. And we've got to see that start closing above 36, 37. But I wouldn't be surprised to come back this time next week and see that lower. Yeah, I've learned the lesson hard in the past, so that's why I get in front of it. That's why I got out at 192. Ex-divvy on the 31st, right? Okay. Tullow, yeah. Tullow was That's pulled right back as well. Okay. So you saw 59. Look at that. So if you front run, 60 is the big resistance, and it's turned around at 59.5. That's why I get in front of these big numbers. So I think that was a good move. If you were buying anything 47 to 49, I think getting out in the market, kind of market we got, to me, getting out 59.5 made total sense. You're looking for 66. Well, like everything else at the moment, it is struggling. But I mean, if you look at what happened back here, we saw a big push higher here on April 2021. We backfill. We actually filled the gap, didn't we, at 50, and then it went to 66 or 65.5. So if all we do is drift back in support and then the buyer step in, then yeah, you could see your 65, 66 soon. But that's a lot of selling, a lot of profit taking at those highs. So the jury is out. Oops. The jury is definitely out. Right. Anything else you want me to look at? Let me just quick scan. Have I missed anything? If you look at these sectors doing well, this is Medtronic. Look at this health sector, Medtronic pulling up, Bristol Myers doing really, really well. So healthcare is good, and Pfizer we've looked at. So it's about being, well, as with any market, it's about being in the right sector. Brilliant. Okay, I'll leave it there. I will, yes, I am going to open the room during the week. I will hopefully finalize that tomorrow. I've been working on it, so we'll finalize the details, just get them, and I will make an announcement. So I'll hope to get that announcement out tomorrow, but just need to finalize a couple of details, and then I'll get that across to you. Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for your company. Stay safe. That's all I can say at the moment. Please stay safe. Thanks, guys. Bye.